Line's good.
Never on.
Whoa.
Hard. Release.
Come on, Brent. Line's good. Got real close.
The hair high, right?
Try and hit 2/3.
Have they saved it for her? Yes, they have.
Ooh, welcome to Game of Stones, everybody. I am Sean Graham. Scott not alongside. He is off doing a forensic analysis of the hoof marks that he found on his roof back on Thursday morning when he woke up. Be very curious to see what the investigation turns out there. But as we wait, we are going to look back on some of the fun that we've had over the course of 2025. It has been a really good year for us on the show in terms of doing it. We've had a really good time. Hopefully you've enjoyed listening to what we've done over the course of the year. So we wanted to look back at some of the best moments or some of our favorite moments from the year. We got stuff from our Am I the A-Hole episode. We have the obit for the Pan-Continental Championship. We have something from Movie May, the film that was from the 50s or 60s, piece that we broke down. We also wanted to hear from some of our guests that we've had over the year. So you'll hear from Jeff Salmons from the Sawtooth Outdoor, Bonspiel, Pete Townshend from Goldline, Laura Frigette, the executive director of the Northern Ontario Curling Association. Really enjoyed all those conversations. And then for fun, we're going to finish out the episode. Scott, over the years, has missed some episodes for a variety of reasons. So I went through and put all those together for a bit of a mega cut of all the reasons why Scott, unfortunately, has missed episodes over the past few years. And I will put timestamps down in the show notes for each clip of when they're coming up. So if there's something in particular that you want to listen to, or you're not sure what something is, the description will be down in the show notes below. So that information's all there for you. I had a lot of fun putting this one together. Hopefully you enjoy it as well. Hopefully you've had a relaxing holiday season so far. Wishing everybody nothing but the best for the holidays and, of course, for 2026. We'll be back. I'm going to post on New Year's Day our commercials episode from earlier this year. That was one of my favorites. Always one of the favorites over the course of the year. So we'll release that. And then on the week of the 5th, we'll be back with a new episode. I think it's likely going to be our bold predictions for 2026, but we'll see. But no matter what, we'll be back with an episode mid-late week of the week of January the 5th. So that's enough from me. Let's go back and enjoy some of our best moments from 2025.
Now, we played you, I played you last year at the North Bay Summer Spiel, and one of the first things you said to me when you saw that we were wearing the shirts, and you said, "Oh yeah, okay."
It was your voice. I recognized your
right.
voice the second I saw you. Actually,
you said, "Oh, you guys killed us on the streaming," something along those lines, and that's true. We did. Now, before we get into sort of the logistics of what streaming looks like for the Northern Ontario Curling Association, could you tell the story of what happened in the, I don't know, I can't remember if it was the 10th end or if it was an extra last year when Trevor Bono won, of why the stream was what it was in that moment when, of course, the famous video of Team McCarville watching in the car. Like, could you tell that story? Because it's kind of remarkable.
Yeah, so I was obviously in the crowd. I'm there to present the trophy and with my ED hat on, ready for the end of that game. And the stream was done on YouTube. And actually the stream that Little Current did, this is kind of a cool story too. They bought the equipment themselves to stream one sheet and had the robotics team from the local high school run the equipment as volunteer hours. And then donated the equipment that they purchased to the high school, so the high school could now stream their sporting events, which I thought was kind of a neat legacy to leave behind. Yeah. So, but in a very key moment in that game, as we all saw on social media, the stream went down, and so I'm sitting there. We're in an arena. It's cold, and so I've had my phone on, like texting back and forth with people, and all of a sudden I get like 100 messages. The stream's down, the stream's down, the stream's down. So I, in a moment of kind of panic, open our Northern Ontario Curling Association, Team Northern Ontario Facebook page and just go live on Facebook. But my phone is at like 8% because I've been sitting in this cold arena for 10 ends now. So my phone's at 8%. I'm kind of panicking that my phone's going to die. So I'm hoping the stream is going to come back up, and doesn't it go to a measure at the end of this game? So the way the stream is set up, you also couldn't really see in the overhead camera where those rocks were because they were kind of out in the edge of the 12-foot. So I'm live streaming, and the official's walking over with the measuring stick, and he's not moving quick. So I'm thinking, like, hurry up, because my phone's going to die. So he finally gets over there and does the measure, and I'm freezing, and my hands are shaking, and thank goodness the battery, I think I was down to like 2% by the time the measure finished. And everyone saw the McCarville video, and they're like, oh my gosh, what's happening? Did they shake hands? The gloves came off, and the handshakes happened. And yeah, it was a pretty, I mean, I did what I could, and I'm glad I was there to go live. And but yeah, technology is unpredictable. So
how exactly do they do it? Sean had a lot of experience on skating on the Rideau Canal, which is natural ice. But doing it on a lake, I'm wondering, like, how do they make things smooth, and how do they get the line set in, all that kind of stuff?
Well, okay, so first of all, it's not a lake.
It's a river.
No, the city plows out a patch at the end of the summer up by their airport, up on top of a hill. They plow out a patch. They make it as flat as they can, and then when it freezes, they flood it. So cool. We're curling on, I don't know, 3-inch thick ice, really, which what we're getting in a hockey arena, right? But they've been making this ice to skate on for decades, I think. And so, that's the first thing is it's homemade by Mother Nature, I suppose. So they do that, and then they haven't always had, but they have a Zamboni now up there. And so they're able to, cut it and flood and cut. They have a heated shed there with a hot water heater and everything to be able to kind of make ice. So it's not, it's a little bit unnatural in that they're doing that kind of all winter. Like this year, when we got there, we hooked a hose up, our ice crew, I should say I didn't really, but they hooked a hose up and they did a flood on Thursday afternoon. And it was probably 15 degrees outside. So it was, it froze pretty quickly.
So then it would like level out itself pretty naturally, freeze up. And then, like you were saying, so there's an Ice King, they come and shave it and pebble it up.
Yes. And then you also asked about houses. So we have built a jig with 4 routers on it and not a nail, like a post that we drill a hole in the ice for our pinhole. We stick that jig in it and turn those 4 routers on and just route out a house. Nice. I think it's a 1/4 inch router, goes about a 1/4 inch deep. And then one of my jobs in the process of this is I make a bucket of slush, water and snow. And then we take that slush. It's a slightly, it ends up being a slightly different color, and just kind of pack that into the lines that we've cut. And then when they cut over it with the Ice King, it smooths that out.
Right. Oh, perfect.
And as an arena club, I would imagine you have your own rocks. Like, do you drive the rocks up there for the spiel?
So we do. We have the city of Stanley was able to either purchase or somebody gifted them one set of rocks.
Nice.
So they have one set, and then we take 3 of ours, load them up into a U-Haul and drive them up there and use those. And have been that's been good that they've had that one, because we used to have to carry 4 sets of rocks, and you don't really think about it until you're actually carting rocks, 1 in each hand, out to a U-Haul, and then
yeah, and even driving them with up the slopes, I'm sure it's a little treacherous.
Yeah, we've had years. It depends, right? Some years. This year the roads were super clear. We had no problems. Other years, there's been storms and things. We can usually get through. The state keeps our highways pretty clear, but sometimes it's a slower going. And then really the most treacherous part is the last quarter mile because, like I said, it's up on a hill. So from the town, you have to go up a hill. And we've had in the past, at one time we were renting a U-Haul trailer, and one of our guys had it hooked to the back of his SUV, and coming down the hill, he jackknifed it and went off the side of the road. And yeah, so that was, he drives very slowly down the hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm going to pick Rachel to win. Gulf between them and the other teams in the last 2 years has been quite a lot, and I feel like I would be dumb to pick somebody else.
Who is your winner?
So, Sean, I think I would be pretty dumb to not take Brad Gushu. Then I'm going to take, also from Pool A, Team Carruthers. Then give me also Matt Dunstone. And from Pool B, Brad Jacobs. Sean, I think there's going to be 3 Pool A teams and 1 coming out of that Pool B to make it into the playoffs. I would have McEwen and Kleider as my 2 others to come out of that pool, but to lose in the qualifying games. And I think, Sean, this is the year we did a tribute episode to Brad Jacobs' career, and now we're going to have to re-edit it because he's going to win another Brier title this year.
Scott, who are your podium finishers here at the 2024 Women's World Curling Championship?
Well, Sean, I've been talking about Rachel Homan and how good they are all day, so I've got to take them. Give me Tirinzoni and give me Team Gim from Korea as the 3 with Rachel as the champion.
All right, Scott, as we are wont to do, I will go first just because I don't want to be influenced by your heater. Or do you want to go first because you're on a heater and don't want to be influenced by me? Because I've written mine down for whatever it's worth.
Oh, okay. I haven't written mine down.
Okay. So who do you like?
I like... Wow. I think I just like Bruce Mowat to win. They always do well in Canada. They got a traveling band of merry followers that come and yell stuff at the arena. This should be a lot of fun. So Scotland, Bruce Mowat.
Okay. All right. So after we visit Elsa Craig, we come back to Canada, and
this is my favorite part.
This is great, Scott. I go for it. You describe what is happening once we get back to Canada.
Sean, curling is not just for the men.
What?
Women have taken their brooms from the kitchen to the curling rink.
Yeah, this is what?
That was funny.
Yeah, so the full quote, as you say, it's women have taken their brooms from the kitchen to the curling rink and have developed a style second to none.
Yeah. They also said that they are not handicapped by the lack of masculine strength.
Yes. Yeah. But my favorite part of that line too is curling is the one sport where the female species is not handicapped. Like,
I think he said female of the species.
Okay. Still.
But still, yeah.
Yeah. This is incredible that the way they describe the women playing. You do see the women playing this. They're all wearing pantsuits as well.
Yeah.
Which, like, the men in the movie are wearing like the classic curling sweaters and all the women are wearing pantsuits, and the jackets have like flowers on the lapels. I'm curious if that was actually the style of women curling at the time. It really did stand out to me that that's what they're all wearing.
Yeah, could have been. Yeah.
Yeah. So women can play, and we
That's pretty
say
good.
it in a very like misogynistic way, but women can play.
Yeah.
So there you go.
There you go.
And
And
then
we'll find out
and then we move on.
how good women are over the course of the next 50, 60, 70 years.
Yeah, there you go. At this point, like if you were to compare it to 10 years ago, say your relationship to recreational curling, where are you at with it?
Sean, I'm liking it. I would say I'm liking it as much as I did 10 years ago. There was maybe a little dip, probably associated with the pandemic, where I was not enjoying it as much because it just wasn't as much fun to play in a mask, sweep one at a time, not socialize after the game. Those are the kind of things that were important about curling to me. But as of right now, I'm really enjoying it. My body's feeling a little bit better too. I've been doing a lot of exercising and playing the 2 games that we played in the Perry on the same day when I played. I have felt no ill effects after, so
Nice.
or during. So very good that way too. 10 years ago, I was playing in Victoria in like the Super League there and on the men's league, enjoying both of them. But I'd say, yeah, I really like rec curling. As far as the state as a whole, I think it's still pretty popular at the big clubs. Our club is full, right? It's very hard to get a spot. But overall, I'd say in the Ottawa Valley, it's like pretty strong.
Yeah, I agree. I think the biggest change I've seen is some of the smaller clubs across the country aren't doing great. And I think that's just part of a broader, or some of the broader challenges you're seeing in more rural parts of the country with population decline. So I not necessarily like a decline in curling popularity in rural Canada, just the broader challenges of rural Canada and people moving more and more into cities. So there's that going on across the country. But the biggest change that I've seen in the city, and I think this is happening more broadly societally as well, is just the relationship between the sport and alcohol, I think is fundamentally starting to change. Fewer people, I mean, most people will still have a drink, but more and more people aren't, or going to the seltzers or sodas or whatever. And I would say fewer people now are having a second round than 10 and 15 years ago. So I do think that is a change. I don't know how that really affects the economics of a lot of these clubs and a lot of these places, because the bar is a very important economic driver in keeping the lights on. And again, if you look at sort of what my total for the year was, like 2 years ago, my bar total was $870 or whatever I said it was. And the fees that I paid this year, or this last year, my total registration fee, $890. So you're kind of doubling what the club take is for me as a member based on that bar. So, I do wonder what the overall economics are going to be as this changes, because I know people are drinking less across society, and I think that is certainly true for younger people. Like people like in university today are drinking less than back when you and I were in university.
Yeah, I was reading an article yesterday. Now I'm an old man because I'm referencing an article that I was reading, that more 16-year-olds in 1989 had tried alcohol than 20-year-olds now.
Wow.
Like or maybe it was 15 and 20, but it was pretty crazy.
Right.
And that was from America.
Yeah.
Those statistics, but yeah, it's a broader trend that the young generation is drinking less, and that could be impacting bottom lines for clubs all over the country.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, you see it with restaurants
they talk about how important the liquor license is in terms of maintaining margins and having the bottom
Yeah.
line. So curling club's a bit of a different economy for sure, but it matters in terms of what those numbers are going to be and how are clubs pivoting, right? We've seen at our club a lot more of those non-alcoholic options, certainly still at a lower price point, but I think probably a similar markup, like a similar margin for the club on them. So if you can kind of make that work, then great.
Yeah, and there's less tax on those kind of items for the club too. So
yeah, and we did have I would note the two places where I played this year during the GST holiday on beer, the beer price that I paid at the transaction point did not change during the GST holiday, which was not illegal. That was allowed. The vendors were allowed to do that.
Mhm.
So they got the extra, 13% out of me.
great.
So
It went into the curling clubs.
I did my part.
Capital fund, Sean.
I did my part.
Yep.
As I was playing a game and I noticed that the other team's third really seemed to be hogging the rock. Mentioned it to the other team, mentioned it to the skip, mentioned it to the player, said, hey, think you're going over the line. Just give you a heads up. It was not received particularly well and no changes were made. And it really seemed like this player was continuing to hog the stones. And I was increasingly getting upset. They won the game. And I was so frustrated that I refused to shake their hands after the game because I felt what they did was unsportsmanlike throughout the game. Am I the asshole for not shaking hands?
Yes. Yes. I apologize to old man Frederick. I assume this is an old person because getting upset about an old school kind of rule. But yeah, I mean, come on. Like, if they need that extra advantage to win, they're going to feel sad about it themselves. When they think about it, their consciences are going to get them in the end.
Yeah. I mean, the thing too about the hog line is like, if it's close, it's so hard to tell.
Yeah.
And how much does it matter? Like if you're over by 2 feet, then yeah. But if you're really just on the knife's edge each time, I don't know if it's that much of a difference.
It's probably not going to make that much difference.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you mention it to the other team and they make no change, like if someone says to me, hey, like you're getting close to the line, just be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you make sure that you're letting it go before the line.
Yeah.
That's not that complicated.
Yeah, I think so. And if you keep doing it, it's hard, right? Because curling is the game where it's like, yeah, you're supposed to let the other team police themselves. But if you're like seeing this guy, slide to the line, go over it, and then let the rock go clearly after the hog line, that's one thing. If they're releasing it on the hog line, like, I don't know, close enough.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. So, and no matter what, you got to shake hands. Yeah. Well, not no matter what. There are circumstances where I would be okay with somebody not shaking hands, but this is not one of them.
No, this is not one of them. Sean, can I tell you I just found an AI Am I the Asshole moral free judgment tool?
Okay. So we can put in these scenarios and see what our AI overlords think.
So I just put this one in.
Yeah.
This is classic AI because it's very waffly. It sounds like you're in a tricky spot. If the other team is clearly hogging the rock and you know the rule, then you're technically in the right by not shaking hands. However, refusing to shake hands might come across as a bit harsh, especially if the situation wasn't addressed in a clear sportsmanlike way. So, am I the asshole? Not necessarily, but I might have been more diplomatic to handle it in a way that kept the game focused on sportsmanship. What do you think? That's not what I'm here for.
I'm asking you.
Yeah.
Why are you asking me?
Anyway,
I just political answer. That sounds like a very politician-y.
Very political answer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
From a product development standpoint, is there any difference in developing products, selling products for rec level curlers versus the elite players?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think, as you would see with any product, we need to make it available at different tiers, and sometimes that is a budgetary concern for people, that they need to get something that is just a little bit easier for them to purchase and to get into their locker. But we're always focused on trying to make the best quality product that we can, and then create tiers within that. Okay, so maybe your handle's a little bit heavier, or maybe you don't have that grip. And so it's still a very good product. It still performs extremely well at the recreational level, but it's some of the bells and whistles that we strip away in order to make it a little bit more accessible for people. And that is extremely important. If you were to look across not only just the whole Goldline product lineup, but the Goldline product lineup and now all the Hardline product lineup, we actually probably sell more Goldline Fiber Light brooms than any of the other brooms as individual product lines. And that's because it is a really good sweet spot for that recreational curler. And the recreational curler, there's simply more of them, and they need more access to it. So, we always look at performance first, and then we look at how do we make a version that is more accessible for the recreational curler as well.
Is there anything, I'm thinking specifically in shoes, like should there be a difference between what like the pros wear and what the rec level player wears? Like I think for sure on the slider, right? I don't think any rec level player, with maybe a few minor exceptions, should probably ever have a steel slider. Probably. But your elite level players can get away with that. But in terms of some of the other product lines, or maybe even if there's something in shoes that you can think of, should there be a difference in what is available to the pros versus what a twice a week club player should have access to?
So, it's a really good question, and one that I'm looking at in a lot of detail. Like, I know everybody always focuses on the brooms and how exciting those are and how prevalent they are, but I am a sneakerhead. Like, I love making shoes, designing shoes, and developing them. And so, yes, traditionally, the biggest difference has been, as you pointed out, in the slider, right? And my perspective is steel, yes, might be a little extreme for most recreational curlers. But beyond that, everybody should get the fastest slider that works within their budget. Like, you're going to be better, even as a brand new curler, if you're on a proper 1/4-inch slider than if you're on something slower. And I use my wife as an example because she came from Florida, had never been on any ice surface, let alone curling, until I got her up here to Canada and got her on the ice. And so she spent a year on slower sliders thinking that it was safer because it was less slippery. But the reality is, they're all slippery. So if you step on them wrong, you're going to slip and that's it. But what she found after that first year, she moved into a 1/4 inch and she realized, that actually made it easier for her to learn, because as she's pushing out of the hack, she's not having to focus on shoving herself out so hard. She can focus more on balance and form and accuracy and all of the things that go into making a shot really good, instead of just focusing on pushing herself out. So I do usually focus or recommend to everybody that, whatever works within your budget, get the fastest slider that you can. Now, all of that said, I think it's going to get more interesting over the next couple of years, because I am, as we continue to work on shoes, I'm looking more and more at the biomechanics behind curling specifically. So that you're not just looking at, okay, well, here is a standard shoe outsole and I'm going to slap a slider on there. I want to make sure that we've got stuff that focuses on what makes a good curling shoe. And so you want to make sure that, you've got the right positioning, you've got the right drop from heel to toe. And I don't want to go into all the details and give out all my secret sauce, but I think you're going to see in maybe 2 to 3 years that Goldline and Hardline will continue to come out with new shoes that get more technical in nature, that might be targeting more of that high performance curler. And then we'll still have the existing Momentum series, the existing Hardline shoe, and even the Goldline G50, which, hey, if you're just a rec player, that's going to be fine for you. You're going to get by with it just fine. But there will be more technical shoes that will come out that, like, if you're really looking to take your performance to that next level, yes, you want to make sure that you get the one that's the more technical shoe that will help with performance.
All right, Scott, you said you had a eulogy for the Pan-Continental Curling Championship.
I do.
Okay.
We gather here today to remember a tournament that was born with purpose, lived with confusion, and departed with barely a pebble moved on the sheet of history. The Pan-Continental Curling Championships was created to replace something, qualify something, represent something, and unify. Well, sort of. It tried so hard. It wanted to be the Scotty Bowman of qualification formats. The diplomatic bridge between continents. The event that would bring curling nations together under one respectfully low-stakes roof. Instead, it died as it lived, streamed on TSN Plus at noon on a Thursday. It aimed to elevate competition, but mostly elevated questions like, wait, which tier are we watching? Is this the Canadian A group or the one without Canada? Do we cheer for Japan here? Why are the commentators saying playoff implications? Like this matters deeply to someone. We watched as the teams curled bravely. The athletes gave it their full hearts, as curlers always do, sweeping with conviction, yelling with tactically optimized volume, gesturing earnestly at a house nobody was fully invested in understanding. And yet, like newly renovated community rink that only gets used for Tuesday quilting club, the Pan-Continental was admired in concept. We will remember its gifts. The chance for Canada to earn qualification points by beating teams still learning draw weight. The heartwarming sight of nations like Kazakhstan and Kenya proudly stepping onto the world stage. The commentary teams trying their honest best to create emotional stakes. The medal ceremonies where everybody clapped politely because they weren't sure who was watching. The Pan-Continental didn't ask for glory. It didn't demand banners. It merely wanted to exist, like a polite stranger you meet in a hotel breakfast area during the Continental Cup. But now it goes to join its ancestors in the great curling archive of formats we tried. The Canada Cup, the Continental Cup, Tier 2 slams, the Olympic pre-trials, the road to the Brier that was actually just Saskatchewan playdowns, and of course, the mixed doubles ranking spreadsheet that was definitely real and definitely mattered. So let us not mourn what it was: a vessel, a qualifier, a quietly competent administrator of World Curling Championship slots. Let us instead celebrate what it taught us. That sometimes a tournament exists not to be watched, not to be understood, but simply to make the spreadsheets balance. Rest in peace, Pan-Continental. You did your job. And if we weren't always looking, we still appreciate you. May your ice always be true and your broadcast graphics forever legible. Amen.
Scott, not alongside. He's off getting his Taylor Swift shirt re-glittered to celebrate the release of her new album.
Scott, not alongside this week. He is off at his pumpkin carving lesson. This year he's trying to put the image of Devon White holding a trophy. So good luck there, Scotty. We're rooting for you, buddy. Scott, not alongside, as always. He's off campaigning to become the Eastern Ontario president of the Toto fan club. Scott, not alongside, as always. He is off trying to figure out who exactly put the bump in the bump, ba-bump, and whether or not that's the same person who put the ram in the ram-a-lam-a ding-dong. Scott, not alongside, as usual. He's off finishing his screenplay It's an inspirational, nearly true story of a young basketball prospect who keeps fouling out of games at the college level and then becomes an undrafted free agent in the NBA and turns into a superstar because of the sixth foul. He's not fouling out anymore. So look out for it in 2025. New Line Cinemas was going to present. What do you mean? That's 6 fouls? Scott not alongside this week. He is off doing a forensic accounting of his bar bill from this past curling season. I could tell him why it's higher than he might expect, but it's more fun to let him do it on its own. Scott not alongside this week. He's off writing an angry Yelp review because the Chateau Leblanc 68 was supposed to be served slightly chilled, and his was room temperature. Scott not alongside. Believe it or not, Scott isn't at home. I left a message at the beep. He must be out or he'd pick up the phone. Where could he be? Believe it or not, Scott's not home. Scott not alongside. Word is that he is off on a crime spree with Carmen Sandiego, but fortunately, I just got notice that a warrant is out for his arrest.
The warrant.
Scott not alongside. He's off leading an on-the-ground tour of Rochelle, heading from Milan to Minsk. Scott not alongside. As always, he is off trying to recreate pitch by pitch the 18-inning World Series game in RBI baseball. Scott not alongside, as always. He just texted me that he's stuck at the grocery store trying to figure out whether he needs ketchup or catsup. Please do subscribe wherever you get your podcast, like, rate, comment. All those things help other people find the show, keeps us growing. Head on over to GameOfStonesPod.com. Past episodes are there under the podcast tab, plus a link to the merch. We are on the socials at Game of Stones Pod and Game of Stones Podcast on Facebook. And if you want to let us know what you want to hear in the show, Game of Stones Podcast at gmail.com. Keep those brooms on the ice and don't dump that insert.
Make the final